Haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Vov Amud Beis, 7 lines from the top. The Gemara just discussed why it is that the Kohen Gadol is separated from his wife 7 days before Yom HaKippurim. The Gemara explains because if he was with his wife and then found out afterwards that she was Safek Nida, the time that they were together, therefore the Boyel Nida would have the same status as the Nida and be Tameh for 7 days. The Gemara went at length to explain, however, that the Tameh of the Tumah of the Boyel Nida is permitted to then go ahead and be Toivel in the mikvah during the day, unlike the Nida herself, which has to wait until the night. Why is that significant? Because then 7 days is enough, since in the event that this happened, then on the 7th day of his Tumah, before the Shkia, he would be able to go to the mikvah, and then he'd be a Tvul Yoim. Herev Shemesh, that night, he would already become Tor, whereby he can do the Avodah the next day. The Gemara now asks another question. Ve'ad she'ata mafrishay mitumasoi beisoi hifrisheyu mitumas hameis. Ask the Gemara, once you're already being mafrish the Kohen Gadol for 7 days because of his wife for this concern, so then ask the Gemara, what about the concern while he's already there in the Lishkas HaParhedrin during those 7 days, and people are coming and going? There are Talmidei Chachamim who are teaching him the Avodah. There's the Ziknei Bezdin, Ziknei Kahuna. So maybe we should be concerned that one of them will then die suddenly. And therefore, since somebody who's Tamei Meis is also Tamei for 7 days, then he would not be able to do the Avodah on Yom HaKippurim. So why don't we separate him in a way that nobody will then also come to then be a potential for being a Tamei, to making him Tamei Meis? Answers the Gemara, Amar Tachlifo Avud Rav Hune Mishmei Derove Zois Oimeres Tumas Hameis Hutra Hi Betzibur. Rav Tachlifo, the father of Rav Huna, says that we can derive from here that indeed the Tumas Hameis is Hutra Betzibur, meaning to say that when somebody is Tamei Meis, so in terms of doing the avodah of the tzivah, the communal korbanos, so since it's designated on a certain day, in this case Yom HaKippurim, then he holds it hutra b'tzibur. It's something that's permissible for the tzibur, and therefore even if indeed the Kohen Gadol were to then become tamei, he would be permitted to do the avodah. Now there's a machloikis about this, as we're soon going to see, that whether we say the Tumas Meis is Hutra or Dechuya B'tzibur. If we say it's Hutra, so like we just said, that indeed we don't have to take precautionary measures in the event that indeed it comes out that he's the only Kohen Gadol, in this case, then to do the Avodah, he may do the Avodah B'tzibur. However, if it's Dechuya, then it's something that only overrides the Tumah, and therefore we have to take all types of precautionary measures. Where do we learn this concept that the Tumah is either Hutra or Dechuya B'tzibur? We learn it from the Korban Pesach. There by the Korban Pesach, it says that the individual who is Tamei, who cannot bring the Korban Pesach on Yud Daled B'Nisan, must then wait until Yud Daled B'Iyar in terms of bringing then the Korban Pesach Sheni. The Gemara's Medayik, that's the individual who then has to wait until the next month to bring the Korban Pesach. However, if it's a tzibur, the tzibur of all the tzibur, or the majority of the tzibur would be in a state of tuma, then it would be then pushed off and they would be able to bring the Korban Pesach. So the Gemara says, according to this opinion of Tachlif Avud Rav Huna, here we must derive that the Tumas Hameis is Hutra B'tzibur. Ravina argues and says, Afilu teima tumas hames is dechuya hi b'tzibur. Even if we say that it's dechuya b'tzibur, and therefore we'd have to take precautionary measures, and therefore we would not allow other people to come and go in the Lishkas Palhedrin where the Kohen Gadol was, in order to then prevent the possibility of the Kohen Gadol from becoming tamei. Tumas hames lo shchicha, tumas beis shchicha. But the answer to the question is that the reason why we separate the Kohen Gadol from his wife is because that is somewhat shchiach, that is somewhat something that could happen that is in the realm of possibility that we're concerned about. Whereas to find somebody that will die suddenly in the chamber of the Lishkas HaPalhedron together with the Kohen Gadol is even further removed, and therefore the Chachamim were not concerned about such a thing. Itmar, the Gemara now brings Amoraim about this concept of either Hutra or Dechuya B'tzibur. Tumas Hameis, Rav Nachman Omar Hutra Hi B'tzibur. Rav Sheshes Omar Dechuya Hi B'tzibur. The Machlok is Amoraim. Rav Nachman is the opinion that Tumas Hameis is Hutra B'tzibur, whereas Rav Sheshes argues and says it's Dechuya B'tzibur. Ask the Gemara, Heiche Di'ika Tmein Utaharim Bahu Beis Av. In the event that in the same Beis Av there are both Taharin Kohanim and Tmeim Kohanim. What is a Beis Av? We've explained before that there are 24 Mishmaros of Kohanim that serve 2 weeks during the year. Each Mishmeres has what's called Botei Avos. That means they're divided into different days, that each day different Beis Av serves in the Beis HaMikdash. On the 7th day of Shabbos, they all serve together. So Al Kolpanim, it states over here, if you have in the Beis Av both Kohanim that are Taharin and Tmein, then everybody agrees, says the Gemara, that in such a situation you'll have the Taharim Kohanim do the Avodah. Let's say the Avodah is Hatomid, even though it's a Korban Sibur, but since you have Kohanim that are Taharin, then they'll perform that Avodah and the Kohanim Tmeim will not. However, the Gemara says, Ki pligi, when are they arguing? Rav Nachman, who says Hutra B'tzibur, and Rav Sheshes, who's arguing, says Dechuya B'tzibur. Lahadurei la'asuye tahar mi beis av achrina. In a situation when, however, may I just continue to read what we said before, just going back one step. Again, read the whole thing together. Heiche di'ika tmein utaharin be'ahu beis av. When there are both Taharin and Tmein together in the same Beis Av, then kuli amaloi pligi Taharin avdi Tmein loy avdi. Then everybody would agree, including Rav Nachman, that the Harim, the Avodas HaKohanim would be done by the Taharim and not by the Tmein. Ki pligi, when are they arguing? La'dure la'siyu Taharim mi Beis Av achrina. Would you have to go, let's say in a situation where the entire Beis Av was Tamei, all of those Kohanim were Tmein, would you have to go to another Beis Av to then take Kohanim that are Taharim to do the Avodah? On that there's a machlekes. Rav Nachman Omar Heter Hi B'tzibur V'la Madrinon. Since we say Hutra B'tzibur, therefore we wouldn't have to go to another Beis Av. We would allow even these Kohanim that are Tmeim in this Beis Av to do the Avodah. Rav Sheshes Omar, Rav Sheshes argues, Dechuya Hi B'tzibur U'mahadrinon. Since the Tumas Meis is Dechuya B'tzibur, we would have to then go to the other Beis Av to take a Kohen or Kohanim to perform the Avodah. Ikidam are those that say another version of the machlokes. Afilu heicha diika taharin utemein be'ahu beis av. Even in that situation where you have in this beis av kohanim that are both temeim and taharin, still polig Rav Nachman would still argue and say va'omar avdei nami temein. You can still allow even the temeim amongst the taharin to do the avodah. Because we're on top of Zayin Amud Aleph, they call Tumas Meis B'tzibur Rachmona Sharia. Because all of the Tumas Meis B'tzibur is Hutra, and the Torah will permit the avodah of the Tmeim even in this situation. Just to take a look at Rashi on the top over here, Zayin Amud Aleph, Rashi makes an important distinction. This that we're saying Tumas Meis is either Hutra or Dechuya B'tzibur, that's a special kula in regards to Tumas Meis. But the Tuma that we had discussed before, let's say when the concern that we have that the Kohen Gadol perhaps was together with his wife and became a Tuma of a Boil Nida, that would be different. That we don't have such a dispensation. Explains Rashi, Kol Tumas Meis B'tzibur Sharia Rachmana. All of the Tumas Meis B'tzibur the Torah permits, says Rashi, Dichsiv, Ish ki yetame lenefesh, Yaseh Pesach Sheni. The precedent again is by Pesach. If somebody who was Tamei Meis cannot therefore perform the Korban Pesach in its designated time of Yudalid ben Nisan, then he's pushed off to 1 month later to bring the Korban Pesach on Pesach Sheni Yudalid be'iyar. The Rashi goes on to say, Ish nidchel lepesach shein ve'ein tzibur nidchel. The diuk is that it's only an individual that is pushed off to make the korban pesach in ER. But the tzibur, if either the roiv or the entire tzibur is tmein, then still the korban pesach will be brought. Aval zavin, Rashi now makes the distinction. Aval zavin umitzaroin nidois v'yoldois shetumaso yotzei alov migufoi loy hutra. But when it comes to all of these cases of a zavin, for example, there they don't have the dispensation of hutra b'tzibur. Uboil nida kinida, and the one who's boil nida has the same status as the nida. Why is this a different case? Why is in these situations they don't have the dispensation? Because here the tumah is coming from their body, and the boil nida has the same status as the nida as well. And therefore, we don't say that the kohen gadol does not have to separate from his wife, because even in the event that he became tamei, or the safek tamei, we should say it would be hutra b'tzibur. That we do not say with tumah that comes out from a person's body.